The opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice, it's conformity. Earl Nightingale. What if I told you that every morning you wake up at war, not with enemies, not with fate, not even with the world outside, but with yourself? And most don't even realize the battle has begun, because distraction is a silent assassin. It doesn't scream, it whispers, it doesn't break the door down, it slowly leaves it open, until your mission, your power, your mind, all leak out unnoticed. We live in the noisiest era in human history. 1,000 voices claw at your attention before you even leave your bed. Your dreams are drowned under dopamine. Your goals buried beneath group chats, half-read emails, and another scroll of someone else's life. This isn't just inconvenience, it's war. And most minds die quietly, not because they were weak, but because they were distracted. Do you remember what it felt like before the noise, when you were a child and your imagination was wild enough to build empires from dirt and dreams? That was your original code. Unfiltered, undisturbed, pure power. But then the world handed you a leash. It told you to sit still, to color inside the lines, to quiet your voice, to follow, never lead. That leash, it's still on, except now it glows, it pings, it vibrates, and we call it a smartphone. You don't scroll anymore, you are scrolled. You don't consume content, you are being consumed, and all the while your legacy waits in silence, starving for action. Let me tell you something they don't teach in schools or job interviews. Your mind is the most advanced piece of machinery in the known universe. And the only factory settings it came with were vision and fire. Thomas Edison worked over 10,000 prototypes to birth the electric light. 10,000 failures. But he never said, "I'm burnt out." He said, "I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Burnout isn't about doing too much. It's about doing too little that matters. Too little that lights the fire. Too little that demands your soul to show up. You're not overworked, you're underpurposed. That pain in your chest, that fog in your head, that itch you can't name. It's your potential, begging to be used. Earl Nightingale said it simply. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Not likes, not followers, not empty busyness, but a worthy ideal. And here's the gut punch truth. If you don't choose that ideal, the world will hand you one. Cheap, easy, addictive, designed to pacify, not awaken. Because they don't want you awakened. A focused mind is dangerous. A man or woman with a mission cannot be bought, baited, or broken, and that terrifies them. Think of Elon Musk. Love him or hate him, he operates with ruthless clarity. While most of the world is lost in memes, he's rewriting the playbook of humanity. He doesn't have more hours, he has more purpose per hour. You don't need more time. You need to stop bleeding time on what means nothing. Every scroll is a transaction. You pay with your energy, your focus, your life force. You think it's harmless until one day you look up and 10 years are gone. You've become a spectator in your own story. And your legacy? Still untouched, still waiting, still screaming inside you. There is no enemy more lethal than distraction with a friendly face. That casual Netflix binge. That just 5 minutes on TikTok. That comment war you didn't need to fight. All of it feels small until it becomes your habit. And habits build the architecture of destiny. Ask yourself this with brutal honesty. If someone took a hard drive of your last 7 days, would it show the construction of a legacy or the burial of one? You don't need another self-help book. You need self-command. You don't need more motivation. you need mental weaponry. Because here's the truth you've been dying to hear. You were never meant to live a muted life. You were built for something louder, wider, deeper. You were born to create shockwaves, not echoes. And that starts with choosing, ruthlessly, what gets your time, your energy, your mind. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." This world keeps handing you dull tools, distractions, addictions, validation loops, but you have to sharpen yourself, sharpen your focus until it cuts through noise, sharpen your vision until it blinds your doubt, sharpen your discipline until the world bends to it. Because this isn't about success anymore. It's about survival of the driven. And here's where it gets real. We are the burnout generation. Z-era warriors chained to a battlefield of dopamine. Everyone's tired, but no one's fulfilled. Everyone's grinding, but few are building something worth dying for. Burnout is not a badge. It's a symptom of misalignment, of chasing what you were never meant to catch. The only cure is execution of purpose. Not someday, not when you have more energy, not when it's easier. Right now, in the storm, while your mind is still screaming for escape, because the furnace of greatness only lights when resistance is highest. You're not too late. You're just on the verge. Everything you've been through, every fall, every failure, every dark hour, it wasn't wasted. It was all kindling, waiting for you to strike the match. And now you know, the match was never out there. It was always in your hands. So crush the distractions, awaken your damn legacy. Because this world doesn't need another silent, scrolled out soul. It needs you, fully ignited, deeply focused, unshakably alive. This is the awakening moment. You can keep running, back into comfort, back into cheap dopamine, back into mediocrity dressed up as just surviving. Or you can stand up, right now, right here, while no one's watching, while no one's clapping, and make the decision that ends the old you. Because here's the brutal, beautiful truth. No one is coming to save you. Not a guru, not a course, not a new planner, app, or affirmation. Just you. Raw, awake, relentless. The moment you realize that, you become dangerous. Let me show you what they fear most. Not your talent, not your looks, not your bank account. What they fear is your clarity. Because a clear mind cannot be controlled, a focused soul cannot be distracted, and a human being on purpose is an unstoppable weapon. So here's your final test. When this video ends, will you scroll again? Will you drift back into digital sleep? Will you let the algorithm puppeteer your purpose? Or will you delete the excuses, sever the noise, and build the legacy that's been clawing at your ribs? You don't need permission. You don't need more time. You need a decision, and execution so loud the old you can't survive it. Earl Nightingale said it best. We become what we think about. So think like a weapon, act like a firestorm, move like your soul is starving for purpose. Because distraction is your disease, but legacy is your cure. Now rise, sharpen, strike, building burn. The world is waiting to feel the shockwave of your purpose. And the countdown just hit 0.